So I was standing in the kitchen, nearly in tears, because of a jar of pasta sauce. A jar of pasta sauce. It was not a crisis, not a tragedy, just the stubborn lid that just said, "Not today, beloved." I tried everything. Hot water, rubber grip, prayer, negotiation, threats. At one point, I even whispered, "Please, I'm begging you. I'm hungry." Nothing. And there I was, fighting a jar like it owed me money, when I suddenly realized something embarrassing. I wasn't actually angry at the jar. I was angry at my life, because I'd been trying to change everything with force, with pressure, with intensity, with "I must fix this now" energy. And the jar simply exposed me, because when I finally stopped fighting and tapped the lid gently, just once, it opened effortlessly. And I stood there holding the jar like, wow. So it was never force. It was technique. It was softness. It was a gentle shift. That changed me. Because my life didn't need a dramatic transformation. It needed a tap, a shift, a tiny, almost disrespectfully small adjustment that changed everything. So, if you're listening to this right now, welcome to episode 2, the episode where we stop trying to change our lives with violence and start changing our lives with gentleness. This is the gentle shift. Welcome to Pixel Reflections, the space where we evolve with honesty, grow with intention, and shift with softness. I'm your host, Olajumoke, a storyteller, a web developer, and human who has finally accepted that my life does not need to collapse for me to change it. Before we go deeper, your companion PDF for this episode is waiting for you in the description. A quiet space to sit with today's reflections at your own pace. Last week, we talked about the art of slow becoming, the pace of your evolution. This week, we're talking about the gentle shift, the method of your evolution. Because sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is change quietly. The gentle shift is not weakness. It's not passivity. It's not avoidance. The gentle shift is the soul's intelligence. It's the moment you realize you don't need to fight yourself to grow. You don't need to bully yourself into alignment. You don't need to break to become. It's the moment you stop treating your body like an inconvenience and start treating it like a partner. It's when you stop chasing timelines that were never meant for you. It's when you stop performing resilience and start practicing rest. The gentle shift is the quiet decision to evolve without violence, to change without self-betrayal, to grow without abandoning the parts of you that have carried you this far. Let me tell you about the day I started to clean my way into a new life. It started with an innocent thought. I should tidy up a little. A normal thought, a gentle thought, a responsible adult thought. But the moment I picked up one item, just one, something in my spirit snapped. Suddenly I wasn't tidying, I was reinventing. I said, today I will transform my entire life from one sock on the floor. I started moving furniture. I started rearranging shelves. I started opening drawers I had no business opening. I found things I didn't even remember owning. At one point, I held up an object and said, "What are you? Who bought you? Why are you here?" By 11 a.m., my house looked like a crime scene. Not a cute cleaning montage mess, but a full-blown call the authorities mess. Clothes everywhere, random objects on the floor, a chair in the hallway for no reason, my bed dismantled, my life dismantled. And then the chaos peaked. I tried to lift a box I had no business lifting, and the bottom gave out. everything fell. Everything scattered. A cascade of nonsense hit the floor. A waterfall of items I'd been avoiding for years. I stood there in the middle of the chaos like, wow. So this is how I die. And in that moment, surrounded by the ruins of my own ambition, I realized something profound. I wasn't cleaning. I was punishing myself. I was trying to force a transformation through intensity, through pressure, through if I fix everything at once, maybe I'll finally feel okay energy. I wasn't overwhelmed by the mess. I was overwhelmed by my expectations. And that's when it clicked. I didn't need to reorganize my entire life. I didn't need to become a new self by lunchtime. I didn't need to turn my house into a spiritual retreat. I just needed to fold one shirt. One. That was the shift, not the chaos, not the performance, not the dramatic reinvention. The shift was choosing one thing instead of everything. Because most of us aren't failing to change. We're just trying to change too much at once. The gentle shift is the opposite. It's the moment you stop trying to clean your way into a new identity and start tending to one corner of your life with kindness. One shirt, one drawer, one decision, one shift. Here are 3 laws of the gentle shift. 1. Small is not insignificant. The smallest shift can redirect your entire trajectory. 2. Gentle is not weak. Softness is a strategy. Kindness is a method. Compassion is a tool. 3. Consistency is louder than intensity. A gentle shift repeated becomes a new identity. And if these laws are stirring something in you, if you're noticing the quiet ways your identity is shifting, the identity bundle is linked in the description. A deeper companion for exploring who you're becoming. You know you're in your gentle shift era when your life starts changing in the smallest, most respectfully small, tiny ways. You drink water before your headache starts. You charge your phone before it hits 1%. You stop replying to messages immediately because you're no longer auditioning for reliability. You start choosing the soft option, not because you're lazy, but because you finally understand that ease is a form of intelligence. And then it starts showing up in your relationships. You stop chasing people who only meet you halfway. You stop explaining your boundaries to people who benefit from you not having any. You stop shrinking yourself to keep the peace and start expanding yourself to keep your soul. Your old self is somewhere shouting, "We used to overextend," and your new self is like, "Yes," and we're exhausted. The gentle shift is when you realize you don't need to fight for connection. You just need to honor the connections that don't require fighting. It's when you stop choosing chaos and start choosing clarity. When you stop choosing urgency and start choosing presence. When you stop choosing people who drain you and start choosing people who see you. The gentle shift is not loud. It's not dramatic. It's not a plot twist. It's a quiet upgrade that changes everything. The gentle shift shows up in your pace first. You stop rushing through your mornings like you're being chased. You stop swallowing your meals like you're in a competition. You stop treating rest like a reward you have to earn. Your body starts moving differently, not slower but softer. You walk without urgency. You breathe without panic. You exist without apology. And then it shows up in your rituals. You start lighting candles, not for aesthetics, but for grounding. You start taking showers, not just to be clean, but to come back to yourself. You start sitting in silence, not because you're lonely, but because you're listening. The gentle shift is when your life stops feeling like a race and starts feeling like a rhythm. I remember the first time I rested without guilt. I wasn't sick. I wasn't exhausted. And my body didn't force me to stop. I rested simply because I needed to. It was a small thing. It was quiet. It was gentle. And it changed everything. Because sometimes the shift isn't in what you add. It's in what you finally allow. Every gentle shift reveals something about who you're becoming. So ask yourself, what part of me is softening and what part of me is finally ready to stand tall? Where am I being invited to choose ease over the old performance of struggle? What identity have I quietly outgrown without announcing it to anyone? What version of me is whispering, I'm ready now? If these questions are opening something in you, the Identity Bundle is linked in the description, a deeper guide for exploring your becoming with clarity and intention. Stillness is not the absence of movement. Stillness is the presence of clarity. It's the moment your spirit exhales and your body says this is who we are becoming. Stillness is where the gentle shift settles into your bones, where the noise falls away, where the truth rises, where your identity rearranges itself without force, without urgency, without fear. Stillness is not quiet. Stillness is revelation. Say this with me now. I am becoming the version of myself who honors with intention, who chooses softness without apology, who honors my pace, who trusts my wisdom, who evolves without violence. I am becoming the self who shifts gently and still transforms profoundly. My identity is not fixed. It is unfolding, it is expanding, it is rising. And every gentle shift is shaping the life I'm stepping into. As you step out of this episode, may your shifts be gentle and your becoming be undeniable. May you honor the identity that is emerging in you, the one that doesn't rush, doesn't force, doesn't shrink, and doesn't apologize. May you trust the quiet changes. May you celebrate the subtle ones. May you recognize the sacred ones. And if you feel called to explore your identity with more intention, you'll find the Identity Bundle and the companion PDF waiting for you in this description. A guide for the self you're growing into. A companion for your evolution. A mirror for your becoming. This is your season of gentle transformation. And you're doing it with clarity, with courage, and with a self-respect that is becoming impossible to ignore.